Hello everyone, this week is another DIY type video, just going through how I made this computer monitor headwear from my recent fashion collection. This was definitely something quite different and new for me to make, but I've been wanting to make one of these for such a long time and it's really cool to finally have had the opportunity to do that. So before we begin, I will give credit where credit is due. What actually gave me the idea to make one of these was a tutorial on Tumblr by Tiny Dangerous. I'll leave the link in the description. My process is quite similar, but there are a few changes to work with this particular design. So we'll start from the very beginning. This headwear helmet mask thing that goes on your head, I still don't know what to call it. The actual original structure was a functioning CRT monitor. I remember not that long ago everyone was trying to throw them out, but now they're actually quite hard to find. But I did manage to find a listing for a CRT monitor on Trade Me. I bought it for $15, but I do think if you look hard enough and in the right places, you can probably find one much cheaper or for nothing. Thanks to the help of my wonderful brother who sacrificed his safety to do this, we ended up getting out the monitor with the shell remaining. Actually taking the components out was interesting to say the least. I really forgot how heavy these monitors used to be, but I was very fortunate with this particular monitor because there already is an opening at the bottom where you can stick your head through. A lot of monitors don't have this, so if you do want to make one of these, you'll have to cut one out. Here you can see how large the monitor is and how my head would sit inside it. The visibility is actually surprisingly decent and it's not heavy enough that it hurts my head having to turn around. So the next step was figuring out how to actually wear it. I wanted to make sure it was as sturdy and as comfortable as possible because it's not just me wearing it, because there's also the model at the fashion show and various other photo shoots we might be doing in the future. I managed to get my hands on a second-hand builder's helmet, which was perfect since it is also adjustable and is very sturdy, as opposed to using foam to pad it out. Since the helmet was a little too tall for the monitor, I drew a circle where it was going to be cut down, which was on the top of the head and the brim, and chopped it off. My cutting skills could do with some practice, but it's nothing a little sanding won't fix. To help the helmet blend in with the inside of the monitor, I spray painted it black all over and sealed it afterwards. After it was dry, the helmet was secured in place with some cable ties. A few more holes were drilled into the helmet and threaded through to secure it in place. This felt like a less messy and more reliable option than using glue instead because it has stayed in place and is quite rigid still. Here is the helmet all set up before painting. Something to make sure when putting the helmet in is seeing how balanced it is, as the monitor tends to want to lean forward due to the weight difference, so keep that in mind and move the helmet around accordingly. To prepare the monitor for painting, I scuffed up the surface to help the paint adhere better to the plastic. And to stop the paint from seeping through the holes, I taped down the inside of the monitor and covered all the openings with newspaper. Since I am making the colours rainbow, I need the base colour to be consistently white to help the colours stay vibrant. The process of spraying the monitor took a few days and about 6 layers of paint. I really had to go slow to make sure the paint was even and opaque enough for what I needed. But finally, once it was finished, I removed the newspaper and it was now ready for the rainbows. Because I'm always working to a budget and I don't have an airbrush on hand, I made the rainbow style by cutting up an old sponge and sponging the paint on, as opposed to using a brush, which would have just left brush strokes. Starting with the most translucent colour being yellow, I made a stripe across the middle to help work as a guide for the other colours. To continue the rainbow, I would load 2 different colours on the sponge at the same time and dab them in a way that the colours would blend into one another. This process can take some time to get right, but it's worth the effort, I think. Afterwards, I would go in with a paintbrush to fill in any gaps, especially around the bottom. When the painting is all finished, peel off the tape, which is actually very satisfying. Then, as a way to seal the paint and to add a little sparkle, I sponged some translucent iridescent medium over the paint. This gives the monitor a nice luster and protects the paint a little more. The final step was inserting the fake computer screen into the monitor. To make this illusion that you can't see the face inside is actually quite simple. This is a thin sheet of plexiglass which has been tinted with a sheet of tint that I got from an auto shop. It was super easy to apply, there was no bubbles, and it stays on really well. This design was meant to be laser engraved into the plexiglass to look more realistic, but the plexiglass didn't agree with it at all. It melted, it went all yellow, it looked terrible. But that's okay, the tint ended up covering a lot of the yellowing, and I went through again with white paint to help cover it up. Then I went through with covering it all in rhinestones to help catch the light and also hide some other imperfections. This actually worked really well because it really looked beautiful on the runway as the model turned and moved her head, so it's a happy accident, I'm not mad. To actually put the screen inside, it's just hot glue. It stayed in pretty well. I mean, it's starting to peel a little bit here, but it's an easy fix. And then, of course, this is the final outcome. This has been worn quite a lot already, and it's withstood pretty well. There's no shifting in the helmet, and it's still quite rigid to wear. Even though this project did take quite a while to make, I don't think it was particularly difficult. Most of the time just went into the painting process. Because it's so different, it is a lot of fun to wear. I also just want to send a thanks to the model who wore this at the fashion show. She was such a trooper. Not only was she wearing this, but also wearing 5-inch rainbow boots. She rocked it on the runway, and I really appreciated her enthusiasm for wanting to wear it. So there, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time. Bye!